Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the player review. I haven't done many of these before. I don't think I've done any of them actually, but I thought I probably should get some content out for you guys because you're very very loyal. And I was gonna I was thinking about putting it on the normal video, the Sunday night or Monday night now video, but I thought no, I'll do this one as a separate thing just for Patreon. So if you've got an extra 15 minutes free just to fill up your day, then I thought I'll just save this for you guys. So I don't know, I'm keen to know what you think as well. Let me know in the comments about how you thought some of our players went. It's a really hard one for me to judge it. I'll go through each of them one by one, but it's one of those games, a bit like the week before against Hawthorn. Like, how do you judge them at the moment? You really want to. We need to play against a decent opposition to have a real good sense of how we're going. And some of the players that have found some form recently, are they really back, or is it just that they're beaten up on some crappy opposition? It's hard to know. So, but nevertheless, we'll have a bit of a look at it. I'll start with the Blitz, Mark Blitzarves. I put him in I think I had him as my 3 votes. I really liked what he was doing all around the ground. He just does everything for us. He kicks goals. He runs and runs and runs. He gets meters. He tackles. He marks. He gets the ball. He gets it forward. He gets the clearances. He's just fantastic. So he only had 70% of game time though. I thought he probably would have had a bit more, but maybe they were trying to manage him somewhat because of the recent knock that he got in that ruck contest. Tom Stewart, always pretty reliable. Tom played most of the game. 24 touches. I think he had most touches on the ground for us. 24. We don't get many players. It's the days of Gary Ablett Jr. getting 40 touches and 45 touches. You haven't seen that for a while. We tend to spread the disposals out pretty evenly, and I don't think we're a high disposal team anymore. We tend to just get it on and move it as quickly as we can from one end, from point A to point B. But Stewart's there. He's took his 7 marks. He actually laid some tackles, which was nice. And a reasonable amount of game time too. So he's not being hampered by injuries if they're happy to give him 85% game time at the moment. Hawkins, I mentioned in the other video, he looks like he's coming good now. So it was just a matter of time, and just everyone was just hoping and praying he wouldn't aggravate that foot injury again. So he bobbed up for his four touches and seemed to use the ball pretty well around the field with some of his field kicking and handballs as well. Took some contested marks. Again, it's West Coast, a bunch of kids. It's pretty easy to ragdoll some West Coast and Hawthorn players, but we'll see how he goes against a decent back line in the next few weeks. Hopefully, he's just got the confidence boost he needed. He's getting his few hit outs as well and things like that. So he was okay. Jeremy Cameron did enough, played a quarter. Absolutely reminded me of Gary Ablett Senior when he kicked 4 goals in that quarter, but. Apart from bobbing up here or there and everywhere, didn't really do a hell of a lot for the rest of the game. Just kind of managed himself. He's pretty smart. He knows Geelong had the game in the bag and is probably just, doing what he needed to do just to make sure we got the win, but didn't need to overdo it. So he's very smart in the way he just managed himself. So he was fine. Isaac Smith, typical. Isaac Smith's having a great year. I was actually trying to retire the bloke. Not really, but I kept talking about him. Big finishing up, but he's almost playing better this year than he did last year. I can't believe how well he's going. 3rd year with the Cats now. Absolutely incredible stuff. Asava Radagalea, what more can you say? That first half was pretty great. I think we're just going to have to tolerate a little bit of the hot and cold from Asava for the rest of the year. I think that's what he's going to look great at times, and then he's going to look like he's from another planet. Another time it doesn't know. He's never picked up a football in his life. He can look a bit like that sometimes. But if he can start pulling it together and get that confidence, I think the real thing for me with Rat is when we start playing on the wet surfaces in the middle of winter. He does love a dry deck, so he can get up and move around. And his footwork's never perfect for mine. He can get a little bit lost and all that sort of stuff. So hopefully he's off to a good start. He played 5 games in a row now and should feel reasonably confident of his spot in the side, which will only be a good thing. I'll probably even go as far to say he's been better than Sam Dehghani this year, which no one would have said that going into round 1, that after 5 rounds, Sava would have been better than Sam Dehghani. I thought Sam Dehghani was going to maybe make a nudge for All-Australian, but the poor bugger's been so beat up in the first few rounds of the year. He's missed a game from concussion and all that, but hopefully I think Asava's been pretty great, and he's been learning on the job, a bit like Dehghani was last year, and he just got better and better throughout the year as well. So I'll skip over Dehghani because I've sort of touched on him a bit now, but I'll come back to Paddy Dangerfield. I thought he was probably one of the better players for us. Good captain's game there, really. He doesn't need to be the best player on the game, even though he probably in the game, but he probably was one of the best few. I didn't have him in my votes. I know a lot of people did have him in their votes. He was fantastic. Again, I love it when Paddy's tackling. I think when he's doing all those little things, he's really showing that leadership. I think did he kick a goal? No, he didn't kick a goal. He had a couple of missed shots at goal. And didn't play a lot of game time either for his 23 touches, 69% of game time. So, would have, for when he was on the ground, he was very productive. So, should be pretty happy with himself. And again, another player that we're probably trying to manage a bit through these consecutive 6-day breaks to get him through where we can. I'm sure he'll be due for a scheduled rest at some stage, but the way it seemed to manage his time this game it seems to me they're intending for him to play in the Sydney game. And then we'll see what happens after that, whether some of these older guys get a bit of a rest. Cam Guthrie, pretty good, 22 touches, did okay. He's compared to last year where he was getting high 30s and on a regular basis, he's not getting as much of it. I'm not sure if his role's changed this year or if he's just... it comes back to the hair. Oh, I'm not serious, but... I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be the same Cam Guthrie this year, even though he was okay on the weekend. And again, as I said off the top, it's West Coast and it's Hawthorn the week before. It's hard to know at the moment, but I'm pretty happy with him. So Ollie Henry did some great things, kicked a couple of great goals, shanked a couple as well. Got up and about. He was really good in that fourth quarter, probably one of our better players in the fourth quarter there. So he kept working and working and working all the way to the end. Which is good to see, and played a bit of the game time there as well. So some of those younger boys, you sort of want them to carry a bit more of that game time. Unless you're Tom Hawkins, you just play 92% of game time after coming back from injury. Insane. Brad Close, I think I talked about him in the earlier video as well. Fantastic, 4 goals. He just seemed to be everywhere again, just using it beautifully. Disposal efficiency. I don't have the stats on that at the moment, but I don't know where that's gone on this list. But basic, I'll come back to that. But I did check it on the phone while I was watching it. And he seemed to be using it really, really well. I think he was in the high 80s for disposal efficiency. So that's what you want from Brad. He doesn't need a lot of it. Gets his typical 15, 16 touches. You got 16 again. But if you can use that at 80% or 90%, that's really good news for us. It means we're almost guaranteed to get the win there. So that's great. A couple more tackles from Brad I'd like to see, though. He's only had the 1 tackle. I do like it when Brad's getting his 3 or 4 tackles a game because he's quite, not a big guy, but he makes them stick. Stronger than what he looks, really. Gryan Miers always works hard. Starting to get a little bit more love from the Geelong haters this year, which I like. He sets up so many shots at goal now, and no one likes his kicking action, but it's working really well. And I think he's got a lot more belief in himself now as well. Now, I think a lot of those premiership players will. You win a premiership medal, all of a sudden you start feeling good about yourself, and sometimes that's a bad thing, but sometimes it's a good thing. It's like, okay, I can actually play this game, and it's achieve the ultimate success, and so what I'm doing works, and clearly he understands his role very well now, which is fantastic. 3 tackles as well for Gryan, so that's great. Zach Guthrie, a bit of a quieter game from Zach. A couple of bad errors, but again, pretty solid down back. I guess the whole defensive unit was pretty strong, so I was happy with all of them. Again, some lapses in concentration as a defensive unit. I'm not going to single out any defenders individually, but overall, I think defensively we were pretty good, but just had some lapses at times, and Zach Guthrie's part of that group as well. But again, how much of it's from the midfield, the ball getting down too easily and not as much resistance, and us probably taking our foot off the throat a little bit, just easing up. Max Holmes, absolutely fantastic. Probably his best game for the year. Just seems to be getting better and better after a pretty slow start. Looks fantastic when he gets out in space and can just burst away from packs. So I'm really feeling very good about Max Holmes in the next 8 weeks and seeing what he can produce. I expect to see quite a few best on ground performances from him in the next 8 weeks. Keep an eye on that one. I think this is where it starts to really happen for him as we head into the middle and latter stages of season 23. Season 2023. Reece Stanley, the eye socket injury, a bit of a shame. He was okay. He was dominating in the ruck. He had 29 hit-outs and don't think he kicked a goal, but played a fair bit of game time before the injury, before he came off with that. Didn't really gain a whole lot of metres, so he wasn't sort of bombing it long. He was probably more just getting the taps and a few handballs here and there, so he wasn't really super damaging. I think 4 kicks, 6 handballs, not great there. Still lays a few tackles though, which is really nice, which I like to see him doing the tough stuff as well. Tom Atkins, he's not getting massive possessions. Like, he's never been a 30, 35 possession ball getter every week anyway, but you want to see Tom getting high up there in the tackle count. He had 5 tackles this week. I think he had quite a bit against Hawthorn as well, so that's what we want to keep seeing moving forward with him. Tui, great goal. He's probably like Geelong. He can pop up and be brilliant at one point and then just disappears for a while. So I'm not sure if he's just managing himself early in the year and he's just going to go all in, a bit like Danger went last year, all in towards the end. He's just trying to get there to the finish line. This could be his last season as well. He's probably in that early to mid-30 age group, maybe looking at coming to an end there. But he looked pretty good, kicked a goal, kicked it behind as well. But yeah, it's a bit low on the possessions. I remember when Tui first came to the club, he was getting 30s. So his role's probably clearly changed. And anyway, and Mitch Duncan, it's an interesting one. He was really good against Hawthorn and had a bit of a quieter one against West Coast. Didn't play a lot of game time. Maybe just being careful managing him. Seeing maybe pulled up a little bit sore and just trying to get him through and get a few kicks and have a bit of a run. And that's really all that matters, especially after the game was all said and done. Jake Kolodashny did really well. I thought some really good moments from him. I was quite pleased with his performance. Again, like the other defenders, there were some lapses there, but overall, not too bad. I was quite happy with him. And again, laying some tackles, which is nice as well. Mark O'Connor, another one, 11 touches. That's pretty standard for Mark O'Connor. 5 tackles, that's great. That's what you want to see. So happy with that. Happy with him. Plenty of game time for him as well. Jack Bowes kicked a lovely one-handed mark and goal from the boundary line there. That was fantastic. Finding his way into this team. Hopefully he can hold a spot for a few weeks just to feel and understand the system. I suspect he might be one that comes in and out a little bit, which would be a shame for him because it is hard to get any kind of consistency when that's happening, but hopefully he does hold his spot and just gets better and better every week. But he's 5 games in, well, not even 5 games for him. It's not a lot of games playing with these new teammates, so I think we'll see a lot more from him when he's played 17 or 18 games for the club, and he's a bit more predictable to his teammates and them to him as well. So Brandon Parfitt wasn't really happy with his game at all. Came on as the sub after halftime. When Stengel went off and butchered it a hell of a lot. I think he played 40% of game time after in the whole game, I suppose, but just didn't really use it very well at all. Turned it over quite a bit and just mungled all the kicks. And as I said in the other video, like he's got that role where he's an under type player, and you're going to be under the hammer every time you get near the ball. So it is hard to and we probably want him to be an absolute A-graded gun of the AFL that can just get it out to a bloke on the run, even when you've got 4 blokes hanging off you. Not an easy thing to do, though. So it's not like he's getting it in space and butchering it. He's doing the tough stuff on the inside. So cut him a little bit of slack there, but I still think he might be one that maybe just needs to spend a bit of time in the VFL if we can get some other similar players doing I don't know. I'd love to see Tom Atkins come good again, and it's probably. Well, Atkins is okay, but I'd love to see Parfitt and a few of those other guys yet to sort of really stamp themselves this season, really sort of own it. Like a few of the other guys are starting to come into their own a little bit now, but there's still a few that are kind of just still waking up a little bit. Sam De Koning first went back after the head knock, played a fair bit of game time there. Didn't get a hell of a lot of it, but that's okay. He took 5 marks. He was pretty good, I thought. And Tyson Stengel. Got injured there, and he could be out for the medium term. I don't know how long. What's that going to do to his form when he comes back? Is he walking? Is he going to walk straight back in? All Australian, but we'll see. We'll see what our team looks like. We might have to just completely change our model moving forward there. So don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Now, who didn't play much game time? Apart from Brandon Parfitt and Stengel clearly didn't play a lot. I think they managed Danger the most. He seemed to play less than 70% of game time. Him and Blitzarves, they're just trying to get them through. Blitzarves with the bit of an injury from the week before, and Danger just a bit older, just managing them a little bit. So we'll see, but hopefully everyone's come out of the game. Well, everyone, apart from the obvious injuries, hopefully everyone's come out of that not too bad and reasonable nick. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully this is okay. I'm not sure how long has it gone for now. 15 minutes? Yeah, it's probably enough. So yeah, thank you again. We really can't say it enough. We really appreciate your support of our channel. It really means a lot to us. Whether you're a $5, $10, $25 supporter of the channel, it doesn't. I mean, we love any contribution we can get from you. We really appreciate it. So thanks a lot. That's me. I'm done. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.